Hi, I'm PeterLevine, the developer of Somatic experiencing. The word somatic is the body, not just the anatomical body, but the living sensing body, the sensing knowing body. And experience, the experience of the living body. It's an approach I developed over the past 45 years. I first taught it to a group of Berkeley therapists, about 15 Berkeley therapists in we call it my treehouse in Wildcat Canyon, just outside of Berkeley. And in my mind, that's where somatic experiencing is. Now I'm somewhat overwhelmed to learn that somatic experiencing now has been taught to over 50,000 people in 43 different countries. So I figured, well, there must be something to it. And where people are traumatized, it's not just something that happens in the mind, that happens in the brain, it's something that happens in the body. Our guts twist. They're in distress. They're dyspneic. People develop symptoms like irritable bowel and so forth. And so really the root of somatic experiencing is to help people have experiences in their bodies that you could say are opposite to the experience of the trauma as it's registered in the body. Because to have a new experience in the body, a new experience that contradicts the feelings of fear and shut down and overwhelmed. And in many ways, it's a very simple process. As I say, it's been taught now in 44 different countries. So it's in many ways culturally friendly because, again, it works with the language of the body, not the language of the person. I mean, of course, you have to have, some either knowledge of the person's, of people's language or a translator, but mostly it's something that comes from the internal experience of the body, of the living body. And that's really it. That's really it. And I spent much of my life also not only teaching it. I'm mostly retired from teaching, but I do postgraduate classes, post-advanced level classes in different countries. And I've written a number of books, starting with my one that became the bestseller, Waking the Tiger, Healing Trauma. Then after that I wrote a book called In an Unspoken Voice, How the Body Releases Trauma and Restores Goodness. I also most recently wrote a book called Trauma and Memory, because people, even therapists, lay people and even experienced therapists really don't understand memory, trauma memory, which is completely different than normal memory, called declarative memory. So how to access those systems in helping people heal and to resolve these procedural so-called body memories that are arisen from early trauma that we've experienced even pre-verbally, before there were words, probably all the way back to our in uterine experiences in our mother's wombs. What that was like. Was it safe? Was it nurturing? What did we get the feeling of really being wanted and so forth? And over time, somatic experience was originally designed primarily for individual shock trauma, so after people had accidents or invasive medical procedures and so forth. But it's now adapted more broadly to the needs that are more salient today, of people who have a lot of early trauma, so-called developmental or chronic stress. And actually my doctoral dissertation was titled Accumulated Stress, Reserve Capacity, and Dis-ease. Not disease, but dis-ease. And if we say accumulated stress, reserve capacity, which is really about resilience, about the capacity of the nervous system, the body, to rebound from these threatening and potentially overwhelming events. So, I also wrote a couple of books with Maggie Klein on working with children that have trauma through a child's eyes, and a book for parents and educators called Trauma-Proofing Your Kids. Also did a book with Maggie Phillips, a different Maggie, both dear friends, and that was on chronic pain, resolving chronic pain. And now I'm working on a project, a really big project with Sounds True, to do an online program to help people who have these chronic health conditions that don't seem to have a cause, such as fibromyalgia, irritable bowel, certain migraines, chronic fatigue, and so forth. So, what can I say? I've been blessed to be able to help, I guess, millions of people. So anyhow, that's me in a nutshell, and I hope to meet you in one of the classes that I'll be doing with the clear mind focus in mind.
Trauma's got your nerves screaming, your gut in a vice. PeterLevine's Somatic experiencing is the turbocharged fix. From a treehouse huddle with 15 Berkeley therapists, it's roared across 44 countries, rewiring 50,000 lives. It's fast, it's fierce, it's your body's comeback, ready to burn rubber on fear and leave overwhelm in the dust. Hold on, folks, trauma's not just a mind game. It's a full-body hijack, and PeterLevine's Somatic experiencing is here to slam the brakes on that chaos. I'm talking nerves on edge, guts twisting, heart-pounding intensity, like a high-octane chase through your own skin. Levine kicked this off in a treehouse with 15 Berkeley therapists, and now it's screaming across 44 countries, rewiring over 50,000 lives. It's raw, it's real, and it's about to flip your fear into firepower. Buckle up, because this healing ride's coming at you fast and furious.
Okay. As an example of understanding the dynamics of neuroception, this is a term coined by my very dear friend and colleague Stephen Porges, to say how the nervous system sorts out what's safe, what's threatening, and what's life-threatening. And the vagus nerve is involved particularly in life threat. What many people, even many physicians, and even some physiologists aren't aware that the vagus nerve it's an unmyelinated nerve. This part of the nerve is unmyelinated. Goes from the back of the brainstem down through here, down into the body cavities, and connects to the gastrointestinal system, the heart, and the lungs, and really to all of the other organs as well. And as I was saying, what people generally are not aware is that nerve, it's the largest nerve in the body by far. It's the grand information highway, because it's not only sending signals from the brainstem down to our guts, to our organs, but it's receiving information from our guts and our organs and relaying it back up to the brain. And the sensory part of the vagus nerve, which I'm just describing, is 80% sensory, 80% afferent. So, for example, you step outside and you see somebody's been hit by a car, and your guts go, ugh. And then you see he's really, really badly hurt, and you go, oh. And that can stay with us. Or we can bring up images of that, which then stay with us. And so what we have to do, so what happens again, we get that yuck, but because the vagus nerve is sensory, it sends 80% of it, that information gets sent back up into the brainstem where it's amplified. So we go, ugh, ugh, ugh. And then we're developing symptoms like IBS, irritable bowel syndrome. And the key here, and in doing a lot of the exercises that I've designed in somatic experiencing, is to be able to get information changing from the gut back up to the brain. So one exercise that I use, and again, it's not just doing the exercise, you have to notice what happens with the person. But the idea is to take an easy full breath And on the exhalation, make the sound woo coming from the belly, and let the breath and the sound go all the way out. So, woo, and I'm vibrating in here. Woo, and I let the air and the breath and the sound all the way out. Wait for the breath to come in on its own. Well, it's doing a lot of different things. It's changing the respiratory rhythm, but primarily what it's doing is sending a new signal from the guts that says everything is okay. You don't have to carry that image with you for the rest of your life, or that trauma with you for the rest of your life. I start out with, just, of course, watching it for a little while. Then I do the VOO.
So Peter, do you start out breathing in? Do you start breathing in?
No. You take an easy breath in.
Easy breath, okay.
That's the key. Because you don't want to get into this high breathing, because that's exactly the opposite of what you want.
What do you call an easy breath? How do you do an easy breath?
Here. Okay, it's a full breath, but it's an easy breath. It starts more from the belly, and then gently goes up to the chest. And then as you exhale, with the VOO, you let the sound and the breath go all the way out. And the breath goes all the way out. And then just allow the breath to come in again, this time filling belly, then chest, and then repeat. So do that 2 or 3 times. I'll often bring in the jaw, because that's really about our power, our healthy aggression, our ability to, bite into life. And so I'll do that for a couple of breaths. And then just rest, and then just settle with the sequence, the 4-second sequence, because then that really lets you drop into your body. I would probably want to do the SMR,
At the end?
at the end, yeah,
Okay.
really, or the sensory motor, both, either one.
Right to left, or just
Or and then
just the whole
just go
program?
back to right to left, just experience that. Because after you've done the breath and the healthy aggression, then your organism is really ready to settle. So then just let it go, and just observe sensations, feelings, thoughts, images, as the eyeglasses just take you from right to left, to right, to left. Got it?
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
So you're taking a gentle breath in, and you're letting it.
Start with an easy, gentle breath. Bring in the jaw then.
Okay.
So. And then rest, and then just pendulate, just shift back and forth between the two sides.
So on the in-breath, you're just taking an in-breath, and the out-breath, you're making the VOO.
The VOO,
Okay.
right? And you're letting the breath and the sound go all the way out. and that's waiting for the next breath to come in. Trick is on its own. But you don't breathe it in. You don't take a breath, but you just allow the breath to come in, filling belly and chest. That's the key. That's why it's so different than counting breaths, because first of all you're letting the breath reset itself, and you're also connecting it, the visceral sensations, the visceral feelings from the jaw. So these are really our basic needs, our basic sense of ourselves come from our guts, our belly, and then connecting that to the jaw, and then doing that a couple of times, and then just let things go, and then just follow the glasses, right, left, right, left.
So when you have the glasses on, are your eyes open or closed?
Open. Well, I mean, you can do either one, but I start open, yeah. Yeah, I mean, in general, what I suggest to people is that they can open and close their eyes whenever they want, whatever feels right for them.
Right, because you're going to get fatigued after probably 10 minutes, right? They'll get a little tired maybe, and they can close their eyes.
Yeah, exactly. That's a time when you really kind of drift, it's kind of a cholinergic, state in the brain.
Then you can close out your eyes and still see the lights with your eyes closed.
The lights are still there.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times it's actually more settling. It's actually deeper when your eyes are closed, because you're still getting the light, but the light is more subtle.
Yeah, and you're still processing with your eyes closed.
Yeah, you're really enhancing the processing.
How are you enhancing that?
Just by following the right-left swing.
So what happens, how does that change your state when you go from processing eyes open to eyes closed?
I mean, it depends. It's different for different people. But I think generally, with your eyes closed, you naturally tend to go more inside. And so that's where you would want to come at the end of that sequence, the boo, the jaw, and then just let things settle inside. And I think that's probably when people are going to want to. You can suggest they can, but they're going to want to close their eyes and still see the flashing. But it's not as intense. It's softer. And so you're wanting to take the people into a softer process.
Do you start out with the VU, or do you wait a while?
Doesn't matter. I might wait a while.
And then
Just give the instruction without just taking a soft, deep breath. Maybe even beginning in your belly. But it's a soft, deep breath. And vibrate it down in the belly. Remember, that's the afferent sensory part of the vagus nerve. Let the sound of the breath go all the way out, then let the breath come in on its own. That's the key, because that's the resetting. And let the breath come in, and again, and then bring in the jaw if you want. And then again, just closing the eyes and seeing the flickering kind of from the inside. That's maybe a better way of describing it. When your eyes are open, the light's clearly coming from the outside. When your eyes are closed, the light is more coming from the inside. That's not exactly what I'm trying to say, but it's something like that.
More internal.
It's
right?
more internal. It's more internal. Yeah.
Yeah. So how long would you leave those on? How long would you do that exercise?
Oh, good point. Well, how long is it set for?
30 minutes.
Oh no, I would do it maybe 15 minutes.
15?
15.
So how does this different than doing it with the eyes open?
Well, with the eyes closed, again, it's a soft...
Oh, I mean the eyes open glasses.
Oh, well, that one for sure you want to use with people who are, heavily traumatized, and you want to keep in contact with them. We were talking before about you know, attachment issues, at least there's somebody there. Because if you're just here, you can get lost. But if you're looking through the eyes open, that other person is still there. And that can make a big difference, having somebody there while you're processing. Because the problem was, as children, we didn't have somebody that was there. The way I put it is, it's not just what happened to us, the trauma. It's not just the trauma that happened to us, but it's really what we hold inside in the absence of a present empathic witness. With the eyes open is that you're in contact with that other, you know, that present person who's there with you, who's accompanying you on that inner journey. And really the power of this is to help bridge the person to that inner journey, but still in contact with that present empathetic other. And so that's why I would always, with traumatized people, I would always start with eyes open, with the peripheral lights. Because you get a similar effect, but it's not nearly as powerful, not nearly as strong. And again, you're able to start to drift. You can do the voo and the jaw, all of those things. You can do that with the eyes opening, because as you do it, this other is reflecting it to you, is guiding you, is taking your hand to this inner journey. And that's why I would almost always start with the eyes open.
When do you know when to stop and switch to SMR? How do you time it? How do you know your patient's done or it's time to integrate and switch to SMR?
Well, I mean, I think after you do the VU and going back and forth, I think after, just 5-10 minutes, I would go to the SMR to deepen the integration. I mean, you're already doing the integration by just, being entrained with the lights going back and forth.
What do you notice when a person seems to be complete? What are you looking for?
You see them settled. You see easy, full, spontaneous breaths. You see really nice color in their face, a warmth in their face. Often when you start with a person, you'll notice that their fingernails are almost blue or gray, that they're at the end, they're a rosy color. So you want to really look for those autonomic shifts, because that's telling you that there has been a shift in the autonomic nervous system.
So when you see that shift in the autonomic nervous system, that's telling you that it's time to integrate, that you're
yeah, and say, that's it, that's great. And then I would then say, let's watch this other frequency, see what that's like for you, and then you can go to the SMR.
Okay, and then how long would you run the SMR?
It depends. I might do it 5 or 10 minutes at first. It's always best, I think, to do it less initially.
The whole treatment less?
No, the timing, to be on it less time.
Okay.
Yeah.
For both the Schumann and the Alpha and the SMR?
Oh, I think I would just do one at a time. I would just do the SMR or the Schumann or the Alpha. I would do a different one on a different session. I wouldn't do them at the same session, probably.
Right, but you end with SMR. You always end with SMR.
Yeah, it's always good to, yes, that's where you always, most always want to end on the SMR.
Okay, and when you're going back and forth here, you're following it just the same way. So you'd be doing VU. Would you be doing it any differently with your eyes open?
No.
Okay.
No.
Can you just go into a little more detail about how you move your jaw and why you move your jaw and with the primal part of that?
Yeah. Well, it is primal. It's animalistic. It's the part of our body self that allows us to stand up for ourselves, to get what we want and need in life, to bite into life. I mean, think of it. You have this incredible, juicy, organic apple, and as you bring it towards your face, you start to smell it, you start to salivate it, your jaw gets ready, and then so that's the type of movement, but it's like biting into life. I call this healthy aggression, to be able to connect with our guts and move us into the world, out into the world.
And are you integrating bottom up and top down approach by doing it that way?
Yeah. I mean, it's primarily bottom up, but there's some.
But you're adding lights, which is top down, right?
The lights? I'm not sure. Not sure. I mean, the lights are also affecting that. I mean, the bottom up for sure is the VU, the breathing, and the jaw. That's definitely bottom up. But these also enhance the bottom up processing, I think.
In what way?
It allows you to deepen with them.
Deepen because it changes your brainwave state?
Your brainwave. I assume that it would in some way. I don't know exactly how, but yeah.
So once you do the VU and you're feeling in your body, what are you looking for? What type of feeling in your body are you looking for?
Settling.
Settling, okay.
Remember, easy, spontaneous breaths, good color. If you're good if you can see the carotid pulse, just to notice if on the in-breath there's a slight increase in the carotid rate, the heartbeat, and on the exhalation, spontaneous exhalation, you notice a slight slowing of the heart rate as evidence from the carotid pulse, the carotid artery.
And then what about color and...
Well, the color of the face, and it's rosy. The color of the fingernails, also rosy. You know, when the person is in a sympathetic state, or even sympathetic and shut down state, you know, there's vasoconstriction. There's constriction of the blood to the fingers, and you'll see that the fingernails tend to be blue. And then you're looking at, they shifted to a nice, easy, rosy color. And you also will notice the color change in the face. That also can vary with the breath. So on the in-breath, you'll notice color change, a different color change on the out-breath.
Oh.
Yeah.
What color changes are you looking for?
Well, you'll see like a wave of color moving up from the chest to the throat into the face. Usually that's on the exhalation.
So when that happens, what's going on with that person?
The autonomic nervous system is balancing.
So that's how you time your sessions.
Right. I don't time it just with counting the minutes, but noticing the shifts. That's the big difference. So we don't do it kind of in a mechanistic way, but really observe what's going on, and you know, and I often will say, so that's it. Yeah, just noticing that. Unfortunately, when people see me doing that, a lot of times they'll just say, that's it, when nothing has happened. And if you do that, you know the person just tunes you out because they know that you're bullshitting. Right. Excuse my French.
Well, there must be a big connection between the person having an experience and the therapist validating it, right?
Right. Again, you know, that the child, their child so often was not mirrored. They weren't like, wow, oh wow, that's so nice. You have such a nice smile. Oh wow, that's really a great breath. So it's that kind of interplay between the adult and the child that in a sense is simulated by this.
Yeah.
we get to revisit it, to renegotiate it, to rework it.
Here I am, folks, sitting on my beat-up couch, the kind with stains that tell stories I'd rather forget. My chest's tight, like someone's got a grip on my ribs, and my fingers? They're cold, tinged blue like I've been out in the snow too long, even though it's just another Tuesday night. Life's been piling up, work stress, old ghosts, the usual suspects, and I'm done feeling like a punching bag. So tonight, I'm stepping into the ring with something new, somatic experiencing. Let's see if this thing's got the juice to shake me loose. Round 1, I'm going for the breath. Not some dramatic gasp, no sir, just an easy one, starting low in the gut. Picture it. The belly fills like a balloon, slow and smooth, then up to the chest, nothing forced, just flowing. Now here's the kicker. On the exhale, I let out a V. A low buzz like a motorcycle revving in the distance. It's weird at first, shaky, but I feel it hum through me, rattling the cage around my lungs. Insight number 1. This isn't just breathing, it's like tuning an old radio, finding a signal through the static. Round 2, I'm back at it, belly to chest, then V, letting that sound stretch out like a rope pulling me down to earth. My shoulders twitch, dropping an inch, and here's where I switch gears. The jaw's coming into play, folks. I imagine I'm chomping into a burger, greasy, glorious, the kind you'd fight for at a cookout. V. I growl, and it's not just sound now, it's grit, it's fire. Insight number 2. This jaw thing? It's not about chewing food. It's about chewing through the bullshit life throws at you. Suddenly, I'm not just sitting here, I'm claiming space. Round 3. I've got these DIY LED glasses flashing right to left to right like a mini light show. Eyes open, I'm syncing the V to the rhythm, and it's like I'm steering through traffic, weaving past the chaos. My fingers start to warm up. Check it out, they're pinking up, like I've flipped a switch on the freeze inside me. Insight number 3. This isn't some woo-woo trick, it's my body remembering it's gotta say, not just my head spinning its usual doom loop. Final stretch, I close my eyes, let the lights flicker softer, like they're glowing from my bones. V. I hum, and my gut unclenches, a knot I didn't clock unraveling like a cheap sweater. The breath's moving on its own now, no pushing, just rolling in and out. I slow the glasses down, call it my makeshift SMR, and lean back. My face is warm, cheeks flushed like I've just run a lap in the sun. Insight number 4. This isn't about escaping the mess, it's about riding it out, finding the calm in the storm. The bell rings 15 minutes, give or take, and I'm still here, but different. Hands pink, heart steady, a smirk creeping up. That's it, I say to the empty room, and it's not just words, it's a win. I'm not fixed, but I'm fighting, and that's the real game changer. Listen up, you're not down for the count, no matter what life's thrown at you. That V. That easy breath, it's your secret weapon, a jab at the chaos that's been holding you back. I took it on, right here on my couch, and you can too. It's not about dodging the punches, it's about swinging back, finding your footing, and lighting up the dark. You've got the guts, the grit, step into the ring and take your shot. The crowd's cheering for you, champ.